Epilogue.
Knots.
I love how they go into how hard it would be for us to be into space.
Oh, no kidding.
And
it's not fun.
Gates has a rationale for doing what he's doing. It's just terrible.
Yeah. This is gonna be sweet. The grumbling villain on all the news reports.
It kind of like that trope of like the real bad guy is just kind of marred in legal battles at the end of the movie. That happens in The Untouchables because they couldn't. You can't kill Al Capone because that didn't happen in real life. So they had to face off with some crony. Metal Gear Mach 2.
Metal Gear, PlayStation 1 edition.
I think that happened actually.
It did. I mean, obviously we played the Sega CD version. There was a Metal Gear for every system it was on. Yes! Mark does care! He does care!
Doesn't look like my face at all!
Strong's terrible!
Back to home where nobody loves me. So I could stay here with you.
Ugh. Well, you know, I can't smoke here.
I was actually thinking that.
Yeah. Nice.
Love that song.
Yes.
Love that song.
Aw, sweet.
Nice.
Were those actually Marlboros?
They look like them. Here,
Oh.
continue to abuse yourself.
He immediately puts a cigarette in his mouth.
It's kind of like the end of Neuromancer. You know what happens at the end of that? Oh,
No,
it's Dave's goggles.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
So in Neuromancer, the whole point is that the main character's organs are destroyed, and they replace his organs, and then he goes and damages them again through drug use.
Oh. Yes. Did you catch that her hair was shorter?
Uh-huh.
There's a reason for that. Yeah, because, like, we might not have noticed in the previous installments, but Gates' bone marrow itself was compatible for Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing you didn't need his head bone marrow.
Head bone.
His head bone. There's no other word for a head bone.
You mean a skull?
Nope. That's not the head bone.
Head bone's connected to the face bone.
You're connected to the teeth bones.
ビヨンドと地球は一続きだ。たとえどんなに離れていても、地球との関係は不変なんだ。子は親を踏み越えて成長していくが、離れるわけじゃないんだ。 俺たちはいつも近くにいる。いつも見守っている。
Yeah,
nicely done. We said this a while ago, but I love that it's a Vitruvian spaceman. Like, that's just kind of cool to me.
I can't wait for the next game from Konami after Phantom Pain.
Yeah, do you think they're gonna do like a pachinko Policenauts? No, but seriously though,
Pachinauts.
No, have you played Ground Zeroes?
No, I have not.
Because
not yet.
There's a not Snatcher mission where they have an arranged track from Snatcher and everything. It was amazing.
The thing is, what I was going to say was, I still need to play through 3 and 4.
Metal Gear 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Because Ground Zeroes is a sequel to Peace Walker, which is a sequel to 3. So I mean, I know you've played Peace Walker.
Well, I assume that 4 is necessary because it's going. 5 is going to bring it full circle. I think
5 is probably going to bring it to Metal Gear 1.
Yeah, but they're going to have themes that parallel 4.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
that game's going to go downhill.
Phantom Pain is going to be
that game is going to freaking.
It's going to be brutal.
Hurt. Yeah,
and there is a major reason why Big Boss is who he is by the end of the series.
Yeah, dude, like the bad guy in Ground Zeroes. Whoa. Like, this guy is sick. Like, this guy is out of control.
Yeah.
It's
unfucking believable.
Yes. So, that was Policenauts. At long last, we've gotten to the end. This was a kick-ass game.
Loved it.
Well, we've done it. We have beaten Policenauts, and that was one hell of a game.
Yeah, I love that ending. That was really good.
You know, as much as I hate Redwood, I have to admit, pretty badass that he goes out in his own terms. He was just a pain in our sides, or a thorn in our sides, I guess, just all the way to the end, even in death. The guy's the freaking worst.
I love in Kojima games how, like, everybody is related. Like, every single person, like, has either a mom or a dad lying around.
That was pretty amazing. Yeah, and just I also like the real world connections too. Like, as you mentioned, obviously the whole game was kind of Lethal Weapon based on what the characters are and look like to a degree. And you have, what was that? Where does Ed live? Like the Family Matters house.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, he basically lives in like a beyond version of San Francisco.
Yeah, I guess they just carried it over because they took what they were used to. So you have all the space museum and everything with Homeworld's Earth history, which is pretty awesome. A lot of it real world history, which makes the game seem all the more realistic, even though it's crazy future technology.
It also goes along with like Konami's like penchant for using real life or basing a lot of their scenery off of American movies and media. Like
Konami's done some weird things,
like Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill 1. The school was the school from Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
Duh. That's the first thing I noticed when I played the game.
Yeah.
Other than the little children trying to stab me.
Who wouldn't like watching like Arnold Schwarzenegger like try to teach children? I mean, that's really funny. That's pretty ubiquitous.
You know what? Let's make one of the most famous horror franchises of all time and put it in that universe.
Yeah,
cool.
I guess they were just like looking for like a really detailed model to base it off of because they couldn't go to America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so they used a school that's on a movie.
Yeah.
And Konami also has a real penchant for hospitals. Silent Hill again.
Sure.
Snatcher did it. I think Policenauts might be the first hospital we went to that wasn't like a
hospital?
Yeah, like a terrible. And there were still creepy things in it, but that was just the nature of their business, and it was off-putting for us because we don't know biomorts. But the hospital itself wasn't overtly scary, like because it's a horror game in Silent Hill, or because robots might jump out and kill us, like in Snatcher. So it was a little refreshing to see a non-scary hospital in a game for once.
Yeah, and you'll notice after playing this game, if you've played Metal Gear Solid 4, that there's tons of references in Metal Gear Solid 4 to Policenauts, even more so than any of the other Metal Gear games. Not only is Policenauts, in the background of Metal Gear Solid 1.
It's one of my Japanese animes.
Yeah. It's Odacon's favorite game. It's in the background of a couple things. It's even in Shadow Moses. When you go back.
That was pretty rad.
Yeah. And Meryl herself being
Yeah, Meryl always was a Policenauts character. We just didn't know because the game never came out here.
Yeah. So, one thing you'll notice is that there's white blood in Metal Gear Solid 4.
From Raiden.
Raiden has white blood, and he references it as such. So, it's a definite reference to the same kind of white blood that Redwood has.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because you see the game and you're like, oh, it's an Alien reference, but it's actually a Policenauts reference, which itself is an Alien reference.
Yeah. Modnar, the Dr. Modnar is in Metal Gear 2.
I'm embarrassed for missing that one.
Snatcher, and also Metal Gear Solid 4. There's so many.
This was a subtle one that I didn't know until I looked it up because it really didn't cross my mind. But Meryl is on the Rat Patrol in Metal Gear Solid 4, and two of her Rat Patrol members are Ed and Johnny, which was kind of cool because we have, of course, Ed Brown and Jonathan Ingram in Policenauts.
Yeah, and also he seems to name a lot of people John. Like, a lot of people.
Well, Johnny was a recurring character in all the Metal Gear Solid games. I know that much.
Yeah, and also Raiden's son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot lot of Johns.
I forgot that. It's been a while since Metal Gear Solid 4.
And Jack itself is...
Jack is John.
is a nickname for Jonathan, so...
Although, in fairness, though, Jack was Jack and Rose from Titanic for Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, but even Big Boss's name is Jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that as well.
Yeah. So
I was thinking Raiden again.
Yeah. I mean, Solid Snake is David, but that's named after his voice actor. But
David Hayter.
But anyway, it's really cool after playing this game, kind of seeing it full circle with his games, because even the nanomachines kind of stuff. It calls back to Snatcher and Policenauts' kind of medical drama stuff. With Snow 9 and everything that happens with all the pharmaceutical stuff in Policenauts. A lot of this all ties together. So none of that stuff surprises me. When you go back and you play MGS4 and it has all these references to nanomachines and stuff. It kind of all meshes.
Yeah, we mentioned this during our Snatcher Let's Play, but Metal Gear Mark II itself is just the character is from the Snatcher.
Yeah.
And even Ground Zeroes has some references if you look for them. One of them is really, really overt, but you'll get to that. It's I really like that we're not so often when you go through a video game series, you might notice that they've forgotten their roots. They just pick up on the previous sequel and keep going. Like Resident Evil borders on that. Revelations kind of calls back to its predecessors, but then you have 5 and 6, where I think 6 was overtly supposed to be Call of Duty-esque, and it's that makes for a fun game, but that's not really Resident Evil. But meanwhile, Metal Gear Solid, I can promise you Ground Zeroes, I'm assuming 5 will continue to have just the really old Kojima games that America, for Policenauts, never got, or for Snatcher, only got on an obscure console.
Yeah.
And the game itself was obscure even for that console.
Yeah, I mean, I just love experiencing, another piece of his pantheon of work, because it just makes everything mesh a little bit better. Just even having that one game, actually, I was like, oh man, he is calling back to a lot of the themes that he brought up here, and it's not all that. It is far-fetched, but kind of in a funny way.
Yeah, it's melodramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid wasn't always, or almost ever, noir, but it still has that really over-the-top feel to it, just like Policenauts and Snatchers did. They were more, again, they were more noir games, but it really got crazy by the end, where you just unveil all these crazy conspiracies and are single-handedly taking them down.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like Metal Gear Solid 4 as well, because a lot of what happens in there is just okay, of course there's something controlling this, of course there's something controlling that, because that happened in Snatcher and Policenauts.
Yeah, why not?
The Patriots being there is kind of very similar to what's going with the big corporations like Tokugawa and.
Yeah, Tokugawa was such. I love it. I know it was supposed to be, but such an 80s, 90s villain.
Yeah.
Where complete with the twirling mustache, laughing at the good guys when things go wrong. It's like, oh man.
It's like Bennett from Commando.
Yeah, I don't need no gun. Oh man, bring that into a Kojima game somehow.
Yeah. Let off some steam. He just throws a pipe through him.
Yeah, I'm afraid of him because I'm smart. Ooh, where's his chainmail? Just, I don't know why you would ever, but all right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I also love how this ends. I love how he returns back to home, back to Earth, because I don't know. It's a very kind of like the guy rides off into the sunset kind of thing. But it also reminds me of a lot of other noirs that I've read, where his work is done. He goes back home instead of like reconciling or whatever.
Yeah. Now for the next case.
Yeah. I mean he. This reminds me a lot of Necromancer. Whoa. I'm gonna have to cut that out.
I will cut nothing out.
Neuromancer. I was thinking Neuromancer.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So I heard Necromancer. I'm like, that sounds right. Perfect.
I was thinking of Neuromancer, where like the main character goes through all this stuff and fixes things and things are going to be good, and then he goes back to being a drug addict, like at the very beginning of the story.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, so. You know what? I was about to say what else it reminds me of, but like, just spoilers.
No, yeah. I kind of just spoiled that.
Yeah, but like, you were either going to read that or you weren't. I doubt someone's like, damn it, like I'm on page 20 of Neuromancer right now. But then I was thinking of, it's not that new anymore, but like just a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like a AAA title.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it really is interesting that like, as unrealistic as a lot of aspects of these games are, there are certain realistic aspects that kind of matter and make you believe anyway. It's like that willing suspense of disbelief, which makes everything a lot more fun. It gets you immersed.
Yeah, and I like the action sequences, even though we were having trouble with it. But that's really just a function. That might have been
partly because of the
emulation.
Yeah, like I don't know if an actual PS1 mouse would have been more 1-to-1, but the mouse was kind of sluggish on the emulator.
Yeah, I really like though the sense of like frustration you have with trying to fight Redwood, because you are just shoveling bullets into him and he just doesn't care.
And you hate him anyway.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I also like how the game like takes your deaths as canon, kind of.
That's not
even
how
though it makes no sense. Yeah, like or
I got to do this better next time.
Yeah, like when the bomb just blows up in your face, like wow, let's not do that. Like okay, one more time. And it's like, but didn't you die? Like it's just kind of funny how they just kind of keep you in it.
Yeah, that's a.
Like Prince of Persia did that, not the old one, the first one for the PS2 and GameCube. No, that didn't happen. I love that.
Well, this was like the first. I bet of Kojima's works that like really breaks the fourth wall like that. Like I can't
I'm trying to think if Snatcher did. Not really.
No, because you can't really. Well, the
closest I can think of is when the explosion of the factory deafens you. That's because you didn't turn the volume back down. Like, oh, Metal Gear.
But they never really. Like,
yeah, this is a video game.
Yeah, like straight up or hitting you.
Yeah, I died, not this time. Yeah, like the closest it came was like adjusting the volume on your TV.
Yeah,
and
there's little winks.
Metal Gear Solid 1 did that. Take out the controller, Snake.
Yeah, I mean,
well, Metal Gear Solid actually did directly nod at the camera when Psycho Mantis tells you to put the controller down, and the player's like, "No, it's a boss fight." And Snake just looks directly at the camera like. Yes.
Well, but that's also a game after he made Policenauts.
Yeah, it is after, yeah.
I don't know. There's just so many really good things in there, especially if you follow Metal Gear games and and our Snatcher Let's Plays, and also love movies in general. I mean, the Lethal Weapon stuff and
Snatcher and Policenauts are serious love letters to movies, and even. Oh no, I was gonna mention the Terminator thing, but that's Snatcher again.
Yeah,
never mind.
Well, this is more references to Aliens.
Yeah, and obviously Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, and Lethal Weapon and other noir films.
Yeah, with the whole bodies in jars, just the whole general horror feel to it. It was like Alien Resurrection, even though I think that movie came out later.
They used the the term biomort in MGS4 as well.
Yeah, that's great. Because I played Metal Gear Solid 4 well before Policenauts, so that just. I figured that was a new term, so it didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, if anybody wants to know, I just finished playing Metal Gear Solid 4 for the first time. Johnny come lately here, but
honestly though, do yourselves a favor. If you've watched our Snatcher and Policenauts Let's Plays, or if you played the games yourself, play Metal Gear Solid. Honestly, all of them, but especially 4 after the fact, and you'll see things you didn't see before.
Yeah, I would not recommend playing 4 without the rest of this series, the main series.
Don't start the Metal Gear Solid series with 4, because 4 has flashes to previous games all the time. But whenever you do get around to playing 4, or if you're replaying it, watch out for Policenauts and Snatcher stuff, because it is there.
Yeah, they're all mashed in there, and there's even a reference or two to Boktai.
That I don't know.
Yeah. So it's a GBA series.
God.
And that Kojima made where you have to play outside.
Oh, that was the sunlight one.
Yeah. And there's something on the screen of an Otacon screen.
That's funny.
That's a reference to.
I love little things like that.
But yeah. Boktai is doesn't really tie into the rest of these games, but it's cool.
It's more of an Easter egg than a in-canon reference, but it's still fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, overall, Policenauts was a fantastic game. Played very differently from Snatcher, but you could see similar elements regarding the noir style and the uncovering the grand plan. And yeah, the good guys were good, the bad guys were bad. Nice black and white kind of storytelling. You take everybody down at the end. It made for a really fun experience, and also very informational regarding the real world references, especially with the Space Museum. Overall, a really fun experience.
Yeah, playing this game just really made me think about how I really wish there were more Japanese visual novels like this.
Oh yeah.
Because I love Snatcher and Policenauts obviously, but I also love the Ace Attorney games.
Yeah, and those were like those are some of the only visual novel style games that America tolerates, and even then they're not full visual novels. There are gameplay elements. This was a point and click adventure with visual elements. Snatcher, we did call visual novel before, but it's really Maniac Mansion with visual novel elements. Yeah. Regarding the controls anyway.
Yeah, and I really like the Zero Escape games too.
I need to play those.
Those are really great, and Steins Gate just came out on consoles for the first time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In
I can't
English.
believe it. Yeah. If you haven't played Steins Gate, I've seen the anime series. It's amazing, and I hear the visual novel is even better, especially because it's just more comprehensive. As it's a visual novel, you can cover multiple endings and things like that.
But yeah, all of those games really go into detail and really have a nice world-building aspect.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of the visual novels out there are dating sims, and I'm just not into that. I mean, that's cool if you are.
Neither is a lot of America, which is why only now are they starting to come out at all in the country. Back then, good luck. I hope you know Japanese.
I'm glad they're available. I mean, Steam has really had a renaissance for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Steam's really bringing it into the forefront. Well, not the forefront, but it's making them relevant.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool, and I'm glad people that love them are getting them, but I really want more crime dramas. I really
that'd be
want
a lot
more
of fun.
Murder mysteries. I really want these games that have a really nice world-building aspect, that have a really nice...
with characters you actually care about.
Characters
it's not just victim 1, victim 2.
But also story beats of the movies I like, and also in general all these real world things that they talk about, Snatcher and Policenauts have a lot of real life space stuff in it.
Again, that Space Museum was really Kojima clearly just took several days off of building the game and just looked up information on this kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, he clearly loves what he's doing, and that's why I like it. Steins Gate is like that too, from what I hear. They incorporate a lot of real, science into it to make it seem more real. What's going on? So I really want more games like this.
That'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun for sure.
I like American style adventure games too, but they're a different style. I really want this kind of.
Not to mention we have those in America.
Yeah.
They're American, we're American. So I would love to see other cultures take on whatever, anything.
I want more Snatcher, Policenauts, Ace Attorney style games. I
that'd
want
be great.
Menu driven if it has to be. I want that kind of world building that has been this intense and this meticulous. I love it.
Yeah.
So no disappointment at all. It's a different story than Snatcher. I also believe that Policenauts is a lot more lighthearted. So.
At points.
I think so.
I would say, you know what? I would say Gillian himself is more lighthearted than Ingram is, but maybe the atmosphere of Policenauts is a little more lighthearted until the end than Snatcher is. Because, like, Snatcher, the threat is more take over the world, and with Policenauts, it's more just like a drug cartel. They're not trying to, murder everyone. It just kind of happens. But at the same time, like, Snatcher has a different attitude about that situation.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot more camp in Snatcher, and there's a lot more, like, whoops, I did it again, I guess, with Policenauts.
My pizza!
It sunk like the rest of the cities. I love that. But yeah, overall, Policenauts, fantastic game. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
Till next time, everyone.
Catch you later.